Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to kind of download, debrief, summarize the track day at Sonoma. Um, kind of my thoughts about Sonoma. I've never been there before and always had reservations about the walls. So I think it's like a common kind of perception of Sonoma is that it's scary because the walls are very close. And it's true. Like the walls are close, and there's a lot of walls. Like you go to Thunder Hill, then you go to Sonoma, and it's like, yeah, there's walls everywhere, and they're pretty dang close. As long as you drive, I guess, within kind of your limits, and don't push yourself too far, and you've got some good car control, everything should be okay. So you just have to respect the track. Um, in preparation for going to Sonoma, you guys may know, did a lot of time in iRacing, just to get an idea of the line as well as the braking points. Also had a few buddies kind of give me some pointers. So Sean Chapman, Paul Brom, two guys that are local to me, and we see them out at the track pretty often. They gave me some pointers on some of the turns as well as some videos to watch. So thank you very much, guys, for all the help. Probably wouldn't have picked up the track this quickly without you guys. I think between the sim racing and the advice that these guys had to give me, was pretty well prepared for my time at Sonoma, and it was awesome. The track is got tons of elevation change, has some amazing high-speed corners, which I think is why certain people lose control and hit the walls. And it was actually a lot more bumpier than I expected. So in the simulator, those bumps don't really come through, and I don't know if that's because they weren't there when they originally were mapped for the game. But going up the hill, turn one, there's like these two black lines, and I think they tried to repave some of the bumps, but there's still some bumps there. And then coming out of Carousel T6, depending on how you take your line and how you get back on the gas, in some instances the car was kind of rocking. I don't know if there was a bump there. I was very focused more on looking at where I wanted to go and that outside curb on the drag strip than where the bump was happening. But definitely in some of the laps I could feel it. Otherwise, it's a great track, and I really look forward to going back. Okay, let's talk about some of the more lap specific things I learned. Going into turn one, here we're looking at the data in track attack. Going into turn one from session 1 to session 4, I have two very different lines. And so here is session 1. And this is coming down the front straight. Pits are on the left. We're going to pass the checkered line here. Finish line, sorry. Tight on the wall. Don't really make it out to the outside curb. Those are the black lines I'm talking about. And then apex that curb on the left. And I think the apex is decent. Roughly the right spot. Yeah. Okay. This is my line in session 4. So cross, start, finish. I'm not tight on this wall. Definitely offset by 3, 4, 5 feet. Much closer to that curb there. And I cut across in the same position, roughly apexing in the same place. And if you look at the data trace, I carry a crapload more speed through that corner in session 1. Let's see here. About 4 miles an hour faster, give or take. Oops. Yeah, 4 miles an hour faster. So I'm wondering if that might be a better line. The reason why I discovered the bumps in turn 1 was because I was trying to play with that all of session 1, and I hit the bumps and kind of scared the shit out of myself. So I think now that I know the bumps are there and I'm more familiar with turn one, I'm going to play with the range of lines going into turn one, and then either trying to touch the curbing on the right or not touch the curbing on the right. I think there's some time to be gained here. And if you look at the time gained, time lost, yellow was faster by about a tenth of a second. I lose it going up the hill and into turn two, but I think a lot of that also was because by the end of the day, I kind of figured out how to carry speed up the hill and understood that I was gonna scrub speed going up the hill or at the crest of the hill before going into turn two. So taking that knowledge and combining it with what I was doing in session one could potentially lead to gaining a tenth of a second. That'll go in kind of my notebook for Sonoma, and we'll try that the next time I'm out there. Turn twos, I think for the most part throughout the day was doing that roughly the same. Turn three, and then 3A. So I think 3 is kind of like whatever. 3A, and then going into 4. So 3A is one of the turns that I was most concerned about because of the way 3 leads into 3A and how there isn't very much runoff on 3A. So you want to apex 3A, and if you don't you want to late apex 3A, and if you don't late apex 3A, you can come over that blind corner and realize that you're carrying too much speed and you don't have the car turned in as much and go straight off. So I was really worried about that corner throughout the day, and as I got more and more comfortable with the track, I was committing to full throttle much faster, and before I could even see the exit of the corner. And you can kind of see it here in the data traces. See, in session one, I get on the gas, and then I get off, and my gas inputs are kind of jerky. Same with the green trace in session 3, but in the purple one, I commit to full throttle and just peg my foot down. So I feel that it became more familiar with the turn and kind of knew where I was going, even though I couldn't see it. And then turn 4 through turn 5 is where I gain a lot of time compared to my other sessions, and I think I want to contribute this to braking. I really kind of improved my braking point in going into turn 4, where to brake, how hard to brake, and you can see here I'm committed to throttle longer. I go straight to the brake, and I get on the brake harder. And because of that, I carry more speed into the corner. I get back on the throttle much more aggressively and committedly, I guess, or in a more committed fashion, and I carry more speed through turn 5. The thing about turn 5 is I'm in third gear, and it's sort of like a slingshot corner. It's hard to explain, but in the car, it feels like it wants to slingshot out. And you really want to touch the curb on the inside and let the car kind of pull out so you can carry more speed. My problem here was that I was pretty much at the top of third. And you can see it here because I let go of the throttle and I'm very slow on the input, giving it much less throttle input than I think I can, because I was afraid that the car would slingshot off the track. And although there's a lot of runoff there, you're going so fast and it's dirt that if you were to go off, it would take a long time, in my opinion, before you hit the wall, or to slow the car down, and you would probably hit the wall. There's a chance here that I can carry more speed by staying on the throttle more aggressively, more throttle, and then also going into fourth. So you can see here that I draw this out, and I really am drawing it out. I'm not fully pegged into the throttle. If I were, I'd be shifting into fourth somewhere in the middle of the turn. So there's an opportunity here, in my opinion, for even more time. got to work on that. And the carousel was another thing that I was working on all day. You kind of crest over the hill and you get on the brakes, and I think for me, I want to double apex that corner. I think that's the right way to take it, but I could never carry enough speed past the first apex. So in the videos, you can see that I'm not really coming off that inside radius of the corner. I'm coming off of it a little bit, but I think I want to be able to come off of it more. And to do that, I need to carry more speed into the corner. I think my brake application is pretty good in the sense that it's aggressive, and then I really try to get off of it and just like hold a very light amount of brake past the apex. I think I just need to push my braking point deeper into the corner by maybe half a car length or car length. That might give me an opportunity to carry some more speed into the corner and then do a better job of getting back on the gas. So you can kind of see here in purple, I carry more speed through turn 5, and I kind of carry a little bit more speed going into T6. My minimum speed is much slower than the rest of them, but I'm able to get back on the throttle, and for the most part we carry the same speed coming out of T6. So I think there's room to play there. I think it's going to come down to the braking point and pushing it, but I'm not 100% sure. That is going to be sort of one of those things I want to work on the next time I go to Sonoma. The next one is T7. I think throughout the day I get better and better at this braking point. I was just using like this weird square piece of repaved tarmac on the ground as my braking point, and it's fun because there's a lot of grip there, and it's kind of sloping uphill, so it's a fun braking point to play with. And it looks like the car's pulling almost a G here under braking. The issue here is, as the day went on, this front left tire started to lose grip. And so you can see all the time, if you look down here, all the time that I gained from T4 through T5 through T6 is lost in T7. And so the purple lap, which is the lap from session 4, at one point was almost a second faster than the yellow lap and the green lap. And then I lose it all going into T7. So theoretically at that point I was on track for like a 156.7 or something like that. And then lose it all into T7, and I think it's that left tire. I could feel it starting to push a little bit, and the wrong thing to do would be to give more steering input, so I just kind of had to hold on the throttle and wait. So maybe rotating out the tires, or maybe a fresh set of tires would help there. So I think there's time to be gained in T7. Also, I was double apexing T7, and some people throw away the apex on the entry of the corner and run a little bit wider and do a late apex coming out of the corner. Have to try that, but I think I need to see someone do it in a video. Because that corner is like so wide and there's just a lot of room there, I need to see someone's line going through there to get a better understanding of what they're doing. So I'm going to try that out. That'll be a note for the next time. 8 and 9, I think were pretty straightforward. I don't think there's anything magical going on there or anything that I was too deficient in. And then T10 is sort of the big one here. So T10, somehow in the beginning of the day, I was carrying a boatload more speed. We're looking at 4 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour faster into T10, and then getting on the brakes. And that minimum cornering speed is huge. There's a huge difference here, like 4 or 5 miles an hour again. And I could have sworn I was sliding the car a lot more at the end of the day than I was in the beginning of the day. And I don't know where to look for it in the data because I don't think it's going to come through on the yaw. Steering input's roughly the same. I really think it was just the tire, that front left tire again. So hopefully we'll see maybe next time, if we get fresher tires, we can gain some speed in turn 10. And then I think the rest of it's pretty straightforward. So those are sort of my takeaways from Sonoma. The things that I want to work on or play with are turn 1, turn 5, turn 6, turn 7, and turn 10, I think. Those are definitely the turns I want to work on. I think, in my opinion, those are probably where I can net the most amount of time. Not saying that any of the other turns were perfect in any means, but from just looking at my laps and what I was doing between all the different laps and all the different sessions, there was the greatest variance there, and so I think I can make or net the most amount of time by working on those corners. Otherwise, the car did really well, and we did have some potential cooling problems with the coolant. It was getting close to 220 degrees, and although I've run the coolant up to, I think, 237, give or take, I don't want to do it again, so I just cranked up the heater while I was driving. It was already hot enough outside that I don't think it really... I mean, I was sweating when I got out of the car, but it was already so hot that I'd rather me sweat than potentially lift a head or something in the car. Let's see, what else? The tires, I think, on the car are done. I'm not even going to measure them. I didn't take pyrometer data, wasn't playing with tire pressure at all. And part of the reason is because I can't buy those tires anymore. The FZ201s are no longer available for purchase in the USA, so all of that data collection kind of goes out the window a little bit because I'm swapping to a different tire. So didn't take pyrometer readings, didn't play with the pressure, and for the most, there's a little bit of tread left on the tires, but there's also this nasty gash or a line across the tread, which some people say is delamination. So I already have a set of new tires in the garage ready to go on. So I think I'm going to dismount those tires and throw the new tires on. So that'll be interesting to see for the next few track events, and then the brakes on the car were performed great. So nothing like Laguna I there. Is there anything else? I think that's it. That just about covers everything I learned at Sonoma. Guys, if you have any questions or comments, please ask in the comment section. As always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you at the next video. Take care. Bye.